right, we're back. I figured we might as well continue. I checked out the DLC and I saw that it was over an hour long, and I was like, man, that's just too much content. I'd rather just get this story and just get it through, because I'm more interested in the overarching story, the world building and all that. You guys can just let me know in the comments below. So let's continue. Chapter 25 and 26 summarized.
As Counters and White Knights continue their conversation, we pivot to the front of the group where Dorothy is catching up with an old friend. One thing to keep in mind is the fact that Red Hood has no idea that Operation Ark Guardian had occurred. She is completely unaware that the Ark had abandoned Goddess and forced them to roam the surface. To Red Hood, humanity still regarded Goddess as heroes, each and every citizen grateful for the deeds they'd accomplished during her time fighting alongside her comrades. Red Hood is also entirely unaware of how diluted and twisted Dorothy had become, how obsessed she was, even after an entire century, with seeking revenge on the Ark itself.
Damn.
Even with Red Hood resurfacing, Dorothy can't seem to find a topic to discuss with her. Dorothy and Red Hood are very different people. Red Hood lives a carefree life and is content with how things are now, while Dorothy lives in regret, trying to capture what she once lost. Even Red Hood can see that something is different with her comrade, but Dorothy refuses to divulge any further information to Red Hood. As the commander catches up with the duo, it seems that all those decades of slumber have made Red Hood somewhat deprived.
What's the matter, handsome? Got something you want to tell me in private?
Well, hold on.
Or something you'd like to do where there aren't any prying eyes?
Down bad.
Darn. Too bad.
This scene literally came out of nowhere, and it was hilarious when I played through it for the first time. Ah, Red Hood.
Well, I was only
always
one option.
keeping us on our toes. The conversation quickly pivots to the topic of Rappy's relationship to Red Hood once more. Just like before, Red Hood reiterates her relations as Rappy's friend, comrade, and mentor. The relationship between the two was near the end of Red Hood's life, and she describes herself as having everything while Rappy had nothing. This once more is a nod to Footsteps Walk Run, referring to Rappy's empty nymph. Rappy quite literally was an empty shell, hollow, and without purpose before meeting Red Hood. Only after fusing with Red Hood did she finally develop data within her nymph. The commander then inquires the reasoning behind Red Hood's instructing Rappy to destroy the Ark. Red Hood, to the commander's surprise, has no recollection of ever relaying that message to Rappy. Suddenly, she gets a massive headache, and we are shown Red Hood standing before a monstrous object beaming down on her. We suspect this to be a rapture core, and, once more, Footsteps Walk Run basically confirms it. The Ark's power source was always a highly debated topic. With the release of Boomsday, the mystery of the Ark's core only deepened. The Ark experiences regular outages during the time of this event. It's not due to a lack of power, but instead a surplus of it. Through Boomsday, it was made clear that whatever is being used to power the Ark was highly unstable and erratic, something humanity didn't have full control over. In Footsteps Walk Run, Red Hood meets an entity referring to herself as Deep, an individual overseeing the space elevator where Goddess originally encountered Anichiro. It is here that a bombshell is revealed. The Ark's power source is one of two ultra-massive rapture cores.
Of course.
The Ark's layout looks as though the structures were just plopped on the center of a massive explosion. The core is essentially unstable, and everything in Boomsday all seems to make sense now. The space elevator is also the place where the Queen originally occupied, so Red Hood aimed to destroy the core and the space lift to rid the world of the Queen's reach. Unfortunately, Deep tells her that's not a possibility. The cores are connected, so if one perishes, so does the other. That wouldn't seem that bad if that meant the core simply died off.
It explodes.
Instead, from what Deep states, it would cause mass casualties to humanity if one of the cores were to be destroyed. The statement, "Destroy the Ark," by Red Hood is exactly as it sounds. They need to get humanity out of the Ark and destroy the core which powers it. Red Hood doesn't recall any of this information fully because Deep had wiped her memory following this interaction. Normally, Deep doesn't disclose any of this information to any NIKKE, but seeing as Red Hood was at the end of her life, she decided to do so. Deep is also the reason behind Red Hood's ability to fuse with Rappy, and her constant resurrection in each new body Rappy is attached to. A bit of a tangent, but one I feel is appropriate to fully contextualize this interaction. Back when these chapters originally came out, we did not have any of this context, so everything Red Hood was saying was purely up to speculation.
Okay.
With a very serious topic behind them, Red Hood then asks the commander what Rappy is to him. His response proves to be less than satisfactory to Red Hood. She states bluntly that the strange feeling she has around the commander is love. It's the feeling Rappy has whenever the commander is around her. Taking the commander's hand, seemingly a choice made by Rappy, Red Hood gives him some pointers as they close in on her hometown. As the days progress, Anise and Neon are baffled by the sheer strength of the pilgrims accompanying them. Unsurprisingly, they feel obsolete being amidst such an elite group of fighters. Instead of giving up and accepting their shortcomings, they both vow to grow stronger. This is, according to Anise at least, all in an attempt to not have the commander swept off his feet by a stronger and more beautiful set of mates. It's actually quite endearing to see the duo try to chase improvement rather than accepting their place in this situation. Closing in on Red Hood's hometown, it would appear that Dorothy had been deep in thought too. To the counter shock, Dorothy has a proposition. Even though Red Hood is content with returning Rappy's body, Dorothy proposes a different offer. She tells Red Hood that she can stay in Rappy's body and continue living on as Red Hood. She can reunite with Pioneer alongside Dorothy, and they can return to a time when they were on top of the world. Red Hood is eager to hear how the remaining members of Goddess are doing, and it especially hurts with the contextualization of Red Ash to hear Red Hood ask about Snow White. Time has changed everyone, Dorothy included, and Red Hood would be shocked to see how her comrades are today. They're entirely different from their days as Goddess, and Red Hood points this out to Dorothy sharply.
Time changes everyone.
She states that Dorothy, although snooty and difficult to get along with at times, would never propose something like this. She never goes so far as to think such wicked thoughts and use others for her own personal gain. The Dorothy before Red Hood right now is someone entirely foreign to her. Someone who would step over anyone to achieve her goal.
It's a different being.
Despite Red Hood's strength and her exceeding qualifications in combat, she cannot take what isn't hers. Dejected, Dorothy walks ahead of the group as they continue onward. After several days of travel, the group finally reaches Red Hood's hometown. With their destination reached, Crown and Chime depart from the group, riding away on their trusty robot steed, Chom. Even though they're at the destination Rappy instructed them to, Red Hood, although happy she can see a familiar place again, doesn't feel any significant change within herself. Rappy wanted Red Hood to return to this place, but the reason as to why still remains unknown. Seeking answers, Red Hood decides to visit her old home to see if they can find anything left from her time there. The following sequence is a nod to a set of lost relics found while exploring these chapters. Red Hood finds an old cassette player a friend had given to her long ago. This same cassette player is mentioned in these set of lost relics, through letters exchanged between Red Hood and a dear friend.
Hello, friend. Wow, this is more embarrassing than I thought it'd be. Anyway, I figured I should leave you a message. So, here I am, talking to you through a voice recorder. Is it switched on? I think so.
I ain't gonna lie,
How many years have you been away? Well, it's been a while at any rate. I miss you. I heard that you died in an accident, but then I saw you on TV. I thought I was going crazy.
What a whiplash.
I heard that you're something called a suitor now? I don't know what that is, but I'm happy that you got out of this place. I think the rest of us will spend the rest of our lives here. But this is our hometown. There's nowhere else to go. I don't know if you'll ever get to hear this, but Do you remember the birthday present you sent me? The solar-powered cassette player? Anyway, I put it alongside your old stash. You better appreciate what I'm doing, you hear? Anyway, sorry. Not even sure what I'll say to you when I finally get the chance to speak with you.
This piano is so
We
good.
had some great times together. Take care, my friend.
So emotional.
Even though it had been decades since her cassette player was last used, Red Hood still tries to turn it on. To the group's surprise, the cassette player begins to play a familiar tune to Red Hood. Anise and Neon aren't too fond of it, being such an old and outdated song,
Bruh.
but Red Hood feels content with being able to hear it one final time. It seems as though this is what Rappy wanted, to allow Red Hood what Rappy had denied her in Footsteps Walk Run, the opportunity to return back to her hometown and to listen to this song one last time. Having accomplished what Rappy yearned for Red Hood to do, it seemed like this was the end of the road. Red Hood tells the commander that she's ready, and this time, her arm doesn't retreat back. Grabbing the injection gun, the commander thanks Red Hood, but before he can proceed with bringing Rappy back, a sudden shot rings out.
What? Dorothy. Is it Dorothy?
Dorothy
knew
had
it!
attempted to shoot the injection gun. However, she was
missed.
blocked by Anise and Neon. They'd never trusted Dorothy from the start,
Let's go.
and
Best
though
girls.
they were injured, their quick thinking saved the commander and the injection gun. A brawl ensues between Anise, Neon, and Dorothy. Due to the sheer difference in strength, Dorothy makes quick work of the duel, swiftly subduing the commander shortly after. She wants Red Hood to stay, and
Of
at this
course.
point,
Agreed.
Dorothy doesn't care how that happens. To Dorothy's absolute shock, Red Hood opens fire, hitting her in the abdomen.
Of course.
Even though Dorothy wants her comrade back, Red Hood understands that this isn't the right thing to do. She's a ghost inhabiting someone else's body
Ghost in
and
the
has
shell.
no right to stay. Her time has long since passed, and she was content with returning Rappy back to her body. As Anise and Neon get up, Anise is ready to shoot Dorothy with her termination pistol, but Neon acts to calm Anise's rage. Due to the gaping hole in Dorothy's abdomen, she's in no condition to fight. Anise slowly lowers her gun, scoffing. A more pressing matter is at hand. Red Hood's gun had attracted raptures. This was Red Hood's hometown, and she didn't want to see it go up in smoke. Thinking quick on their feet, the commander orders Neon to move Dorothy to a safe location, and afterwards, Neon, Anise, and Red Hood begin their encounter with the raptures. As the dust settles, Red Hood comments on how well the trio work together. Anise and Neon are used to
They're a good
Rappy's
team.
movements, and to them, Red Hood moves exactly like her. Luckily for the group, they were able to dispatch the raptures without causing severe damage to Red Hood's hometown, leaving it untouched. Seeing this, Red Hood is content to let the commander eject her. Sadly, Red Hood once more remarks how she's glad that Snow is still doing fine.
Let's go, Snow White.
Out of all the members of Goddess, Red Hood still holds Snow White closest to her heart. She's completely unaware that the innocent Snow White she once knew
She
had
a
died
beast
long
now.
ago, replaced with a stoic, quiet, and scarred Snow White who'd experienced so much turmoil on the surface. Before the commander can inject Red Hood, Dorothy once more intervenes.
Snow White, Rapunzel, Scarlet. They're all still alive. Don't you want to meet them? I know you do. You want to reminisce about old times with them. I can make
brother.
that happen.
Oh,
I
brother.
can take you to them.
She's corrupt.
Yes, I do want to meet them. But I can't. I
That's
left
real.
everything behind. I
That's
shouldn't
strength.
remain in this place any longer.
We were betrayed. The Ark and all of mankind turned their backs on us. We fought with everything we had. And then they cast us out like we were nothing to them. My pride, my purpose. It's all gone now.
Dorothy begs Red Hood to stay. If she does,
Her
the
purpose
Goddess
is
Squad can
gone.
ride again.
Okay.
Dorothy wishes to feel loved again. In this case, she's referring to the bond their squad shared and the adoration they had from the people. Red Hood is entirely unaware of the Ark's betrayal and the fact that Goddess was outcasted from the Ark's walls. Dorothy wishes for Red Hood to return and capture the glory days once again. She doesn't feel like she has any purpose but revenge in the current timeline.
That's not good.
There's too much hatred and betrayal that she'd experienced. The advice Red Hood gives Dorothy next is plain and simple.
Then what about forgiveness?
There you go.
What?
Even if you feel shattered and hurt, it's all over if you forgive them.
Mm-hmm.
You can go back.
That's true.
But how?
That's true.
How can you possibly expect me to do that?
Because when you forgive anything and anybody, you're not forgiving them for them. You're forgiving them for yourself. When you forgive, you're actively choosing to let go of the shackles. You're letting go of these past memories of the glory days and the betrayal and the hurt and the pain and the anguish. When you forgive, you're letting all of that go for yourselves. Now, it doesn't mean you have to necessarily go back to the people that hurt you to begin with. Forgiveness just means I understand what happened. I'm going to let it go and I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen again. And you just keep moving forward. That is forgiveness.
You just need to make the decision.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. Easier said than done, but that's it.
You have to hang in there, Dorothy. I have faith in you.
That's real.
You're an amazing person.
With her final words said to Dorothy, Red Hood has one final request of the commander.
That's a girl for sure.
She'd like to say one last farewell to her comrades.
Hey there, everyone. I'm back. Not even death could keep me down. Man.
That's real.
This is more awkward than I thought it'd be. I heard you're still all trying to defeat the Queen? It's been 100 years. What the heck are you all doing?
Yeah, it's taking so long.
Do you think you're the only ones who can get this job done? You know that's not true. So please, stop now. Let someone else take over and walk away. I gave up the fight a long time ago and took some well-deserved time off. I was fortunate enough to meet some pretty great people along the way. Well, I guess that's everything.
Good luck.
Red Hood, wait! Don't
Peace.
leave!
I love
what
this.
I wanted to talk
Bro,
about
she going to Nirvana.
was...
She going to Nirvana, bro. She let it go.
With
She's
this,
not attached
Red
to
Hood
this world
injects
no more.
herself with the gun,
Real shit.
and soon after, Rappy returns. Normally, I'd summarize a majority of the scenes that happen in these chapter summaries, but I feel that this scene is best played in its entirety.
At first, I wanted to leave everything to you, because I thought you were more valuable than me. But then, I met other people, and we grew close. We created some wonderful memories together, and I met someone very precious to me. I went from being an empty shell to feeling completely fulfilled.
It feels nice to live, doesn't it?
Yes,
It sure
it does.
Then it's settled. You go and live your own life. Don't cling to what's gone.
I will.
This was fun.
It was for me too.
Bye.
Bye, my friend, my mentor,
Amazing.
my hero.
Amazing.
Red Hood.
That was so
Dorothy.
beautiful.
She's right here. Actually, these weren't the things I wanted to talk to her about. I wanted to talk about all the times we had together. I ruined it. Our last farewell.
Just let
She'll
it go,
understand.
bro. Just let it go.
Rappy, is it really you?
Let's go.
It's me.
Welcome back.
Thank you for finding me. And you did.
So beautiful.
I knew you would. Let's.
Mission
You
complete.
honestly can't help but feel bad for Dorothy in this scene.
A little bit.
She wanted to talk about so many things with Red Hood. However, her desire for revenge and her own selfishness to keep Red Hood alive intervened.
Yep.
She didn't realize this before it was far too late. With the counters heading back to the Ark, the commander offers Dorothy a hand, insisting that she come along with them.
Might as well.
Shocked, dejected, and confused, Dorothy can't believe the commander could have any capacity of forgiving her. Despite this, the commander reassures Dorothy, aiding her to stand. Dorothy apologizes to Anise and Neon for her escapades earlier, and with that, the duo decide to forgive her as well.
Yeah, it's not
Funnily enough, it's apparent that Rappy could hear Red Hood flirting and telling the commander about her fondness that she shares with him.
Oh, let's talk about
Due
it.
to this, you could say it gave Rappy a boost in confidence. Taking the first step, she removes the commander's hand from Dorothy, replacing it with her own. Hand in hand, Rappy and the commander head back to the Ark, accompanied by Anise, Neon, and Dorothy.
Let's go.
With this, the group begins to leave behind the hometown of Rappy's mentor, and the memory of her legacy untouched.
That's amazing.
Back at the Ark, Rappy has been sent to undergo...
Man, before we continue, man, another round of applause because absolutely beautiful. We got to even throw a life lesson in there. Oh, that's what I love about NIKKE, man. The actual wisdom that is in this game, bro. There's so much wisdom, man. And forgiveness, this is honestly a lesson that many people could learn from. And a lot of people don't really truly understand what forgiveness is, man. You're not just forgiving somebody for them, man. It's for you. When you say, I forgive, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going back. It just means, hey, man, what happened, happened. And I'm just letting it go so I can continue with my life. So beautiful, man. Round of applause for NIKKE.
Various tests and evaluations. Meeting with Ingrid, the commander learns that Red Hood's presence within Rappy has entirely vanished. Normally, Red Hood would resurface after Rappy was rebuilt, and getting a new body this time proved to have no traces of Red Hood left. In a way, Ingrid seems relieved about this.
That's kind of sad.
She states that NIMP is already an unknown piece of technology utilized in the Ark, and in a way, the same can be said about Red Hood. No one understood how or why this anomaly had occurred within Rappy. There is one small anomaly that remains within her though. As Ingrid describes, it's a very faint power source. The commander comments that it could be something like a memory. Regardless, Elijah can't do much about it. It's directly adjacent to Rappy's core, so it cannot be operated on. Once maintenance is completed, Ingrid says she'll send Rappy back to the counters. Having returned to the Ark along with the commander, Dorothy is now met by Chief Birmingham. He thanks Dorothy for saving the Ark and inquires about the proposition that she'd originally come to discuss. Before they can continue, Dorothy tells Birmingham to drop the act.
Yeah, bro, get out of here.
Surprisingly, that stutter Birmingham has was tactical. He was appearing weaker than he really is in order to try to have Dorothy drop her guard.
Yeah,
Birmingham is a bit more intelligent than we all gave him credit for, I guess.
Bro.
With Birmingham's little scheme thwarted, he continues negotiations with Dorothy. She states that she wants an Ark broadcasting channel to promote Eden. In exchange, she'll hand over these schematics on how Eden processes their metals. Evidently, Cecil's expertise outpaces the Ark in its entirety. With this agreement, Birmingham asks about Papillon. Surely seeing as this deal was settled, she could be returned safely to the Ark. However, Dorothy has other plans. She still has use for Papillon, and even with this agreement, states that she will not be returning her. With Eden now having a small snippet of Ark jurisdiction, Dorothy exits the meeting room, muttering that she can never forgive the Ark. Meeting with Anderson, the commander relays the information of Red Hood's hometown, suggesting it as a location for an area that they can reclaim. Surprisingly, Anderson is already very familiar with the area.
Very well. Let's take a look then.
Bro, I'm convinced Anderson was the old protagonist in a different timeline of NIKKE. I'm convinced he's been everywhere and done everything before we've done it. Revealing an image of Red Hood.
I know this place.
Of course he does. I've been here before.
It's about a week from the Ark by foot.
Metal Gear.
I see vestiges of old cornfields, so that tells me the soil there is in good shape. There is a river adjacent to the settlement area as well. The village has its back to a mountain, which of course has certain strategic advantages.
It sure does.
It's not too far from the sea either. It's also a plus that the land area isn't overly large.
Hey, that's pretty good.
It will suffice.
That's pretty good.
Anderson is suspected of being the legendary commander from the
Of
first
course.
invasion.
I believe it. It has to be him. He's me.
And this intel doesn't exactly act to refute that claim.
Well, of course I know him.
At the very least,
I'm
he
him.
has high clearance of confidential data regarding the surface. Anderson approves of the location that the commander proposes, advising him to apply the optical camouflage in this area and have it
Optical
act as a
camo.
base of
Nice.
operations.
This is perfect.
It'll start
Metal
small,
Gear.
but as more points are reclaimed, they'll begin to expand. Repetition of this is several hundred times, according to Anderson, will result in total reclamation of the surface. With supplies and manpower dwindling in the Ark, Anderson states that he cannot offer much aid. However, he knows someone the commander can ask who has everything he'll need to get the job done.
Oh, bro, please
Yep,
don't tell
you
me it's
guessed
Sewin.
it.
No, please.
The commander's going to our favorite little shit,
no,
Sewin.
no,
Using his sway from Enoch, he's
Why, bro? Why? At least she's still underneath our control.
able to get Sewin's help to install the optical camouflage. She asks the commander to relay the information to the public and tell Enoch of what a good job she's doing. The commander agrees to do it.
Blah, blah, blah.
Next time.
Yeah, next time.
Meaning that all the resources would be acquired essentially for free this time
Absolutely.
around.
Yeah, you don't
Well
get no
played,
morale.
Commander.
Let's go.
Very well played. Sewin states that
This
once
one's on
everything
us.
is prepared, she'll send it up to the elevator. Venturing to the surface, counters begin to unpack the supplies Sewin had sent them. Activating a specialized device, counters wait to see what it's capable of. According to Rappy, it'll act as a calling signal to lure in surrounding raptures. Once dispatched, counters can erect the optical camouflage. To ensure no nearby stragglers come near the settlement, the device will also scramble any nearby rapture's directional sensors,
So they go in
preventing
different
any from
directions.
coming near.
Yeah.
Anise comments that, with this device, reclaiming the surface should be easy. However, Rappy is quick to rebuttal this claim.
Hold on.
This
Don't say
device
easy.
is fairly tough to manufacture, requiring specialized material long since depleted on the surface. Most likely, all those resources were used by Eden. As raptures begin to surface, a tyrant class suddenly appears,
Oh no.
codenamed Ultra,
Yeah.
a rapture capable of inflicting corruption,
Oh,
and
no.
the same rapture type that corrupted Red Hood in the time of the first invasion. Due to it being an outdated model, Rappy is confident they can take it down. And let's be real, the Ultra fight in-game is kinda...
Easy.
It's a joke. The
Bro,
boss is a fucking joke.
That damage is crazy,
Swiftly,
bro.
counters get in their battle formations, ready for their next encounter. Unsurprisingly, counters take down Ultra, but before they can catch their breath, a second wave appears, roughly 300 raptures in total. Before
That's
the
it.
group engages, they suddenly hear a roar from the sky. For all of you familiar
Oh.
with this story, you'll know exactly what that means. It's
whale.
everyone's favorite rapture, Mother Whale.
The whale.
Seeing this formidable foe incoming, Rappy suggests retreating.
Brother. Here we go.
However, the commander stops her. Something
Retreat.
about this
Don't do
mother
that.
whale doesn't seem right. This mother whale isn't the normal red color that we're familiar with,
It's blue.
but instead, it shines blue. It crash lands on the surface,
So it's,
taking out all
uncorrupted.
raptures beneath it. Stunned, counters watch in awe as mother whale screeches to a halt. Rappy instructs the group to exercise caution, seeing the difference of this mother whale variant. Before the commander can give his next order though, his phone suddenly begins to vibrate. It's
got a
a
phone
message
call
from
from?
an old friend, Raptilian,
Oh.
and it would appear he's finally making his grand entrance in our main story. With a crash-landed mother whale and a message from an old friend, the counters have taken the first steps to finally reclaim the surface. If Raptilian is affiliated with this mother whale, the only remaining question is how he was able to command it. And with that, we reach the end of
Aw,
chapter
man.
25 and
You
26
gonna
of
leave me
NIKKE's
hanging like that,
story.
bro?
All summarized for your
Damn.
viewing pleasure.
That was good.
How did you enjoy this installment?
It was really,
and what
really
was
good.
your favorite part? Be sure to let me know in the
For sure, of course. The forgiveness. That was my favorite part.
comment section down
That was
below.
beautiful. Amazing.
Happy 2.5 anniversary, Commanders,
Yeah,
and I
2.5
wish you all the
years.
best of luck in your polls. Thank you all for your continued support, and a big thanks to my channel members for their support as well. Thank you all for
You guys
joining
are
me,
amazing.
and as always, I will see you all in the next video. Jane.
Amazing, amazing work. All right, man. Chapter 25 and 26 summarized. Oh, brother. And, you know, I'm glad we made it. Like, this is a definite huge pivotal moment when it comes to the story. We're back on the surface. We have finally some actual support because we have Suyin underneath our thumb. So that's good. We have a major CEO on our side. We have Dorothy on our side as well, and a new Dorothy at that. This is someone that can hopefully truly get rid of all of this baggage that they're carrying. But for sure, Red Hood gave her all the pieces to the puzzle. She just needs to put them together. But man, this is absolutely, positively amazing story. Again, the overall grand narrative of NIKKE is what I love to see, man. But I'm pretty sure there's some amazing world building. Of course, the characters, the environments, and stuff like that. Me personally, I'd have to check it out some other time. I just love truly just the story in general. I need to see where this goes. Also, since you guys play gacha, you guys have any other summarized type of story videos when it comes to Genshin? Because I played for the first two and a half years, and then I stopped playing the game in general. But I am wondering where the story's at with that, because I've just been waiting for Lumine and Aether to like get their memories back and do whatever it is that they're doing. So if you just so happen to know any videos like that, please send them my way in the Discord, link down below. And until next time, I will see you guys on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye-bye.